Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build for the Artificer Armorer in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a mod that was made by Craftisan here, part of the mostly faithful Artificer mod, which was just released on console the other day. I was requested to cover this, but I do want to make a little asterisk here that this mod is not updated for patch 8, and I did have some issues with it last time when I was doing a video on it, so just be notified that that may happen, but there is another Artificer mod that is in the works, so we'll hopefully see that one soon. This one is now available on console though. One thing I do like about it is you get to choose the dialogue that you're going to get, so this gives you either wizard, fighter, or gnome dialogue. I think wizard and gnome are the best two to go with. We also get to take cantrips. Now, this class is not strong offensively at all. Mage hand and guidance are good. Booming blade kind of sucks. We don't get the extra attack. Firebolt's just fair. Can be good for exploding things. But that's really the only other damage option we got. So this class is a bit undertuned due to some of the mechanics in Baldur's Gate 3 not really complementing this very much. I would actually recommend for builds to actually go around dexterity focus, as that's going to be the best stat here, and then put 14 points in our constitution like this, and roll the stat spread of that. 16 dex, 14 constitution, 16 intelligence. You can swap dex and constitution if you prefer. And upon hitting level 4, we get our infusions here. Now, the only downside is they just suck. The enhanced defense gives you a +1. Basically, the fighter armor from the start of the game you get. You can get a +1 weapon at level 10. It becomes a +2. They're not super powerful. The ones that I do recommend, like the boxers of holding, are kind of nice. Increasing your carrying capacity become a nice utility. The returning weapon will basically give you like a returning pike type weapon. The hood of the knight is actually a good choice. This gives you a cloak that lets you see in magical darkness, oddly enough. I don't think that's intended, but it works that way. The lantern revealing gives you see invisibility, which can be kind of nice. The boots of the elven kind allows you to enhance your stealth. The cloak of the charming gives you charm person. And the violin sewer is just kind of funny, so we're going to grab that anyways. This class isn't too strong, so not a huge worry. Sanctuary, probably the best spell that we have here. I like to also grab Longstrider for the team buffs, Cure Wounds, Grease for a bit of crowd control. Fairy Fire can be nice to set up your teammates, and if not, False Light for the extra health is another good choice. Now the thing is, level 3 is when we get to take our subclass here. So I've done one on the Artillerist, which gives you an Eldritch Cannon you can place in the ground. The Armorer, however, can create a weapon here with the Armor Weapons. And then also Magic Missile and Thunderwave. Just heads up, there are some typos here, so just be mindful of that. Once we get to our next level, we'll then take Disguise Self, I guess. We can then use that to get ourselves Yankee buffs on weapons and things like that. I guess that's really all we got at this current time. Level 4 gives us another feat. Alert for the +5 to initiative, I think, is a good choice. Going first in combat really does help. Level 5, this subclass does give us an extra attack here, and it also gives us the Arcane Lock, Blur, and a few other spells. We also get Mirror Image, increasing armor class by 9, and Shatter. So this is a little bit better. Now the thing is, we're going to be adding in things like Aid, which are very powerful. Magic Weapon, if you have the 2024 Player Handbook Update mod, actually does make it a lot better. Right now it's not great. We'll take Invisibility. And you can even throw in Enhance Ability because it's a pretty useful spell outside of combat. And once we get to level 6 here, we get 2 more enhancements, or infusions. So we can use this to give ourselves a spell slot Restoration Ring, which is kind of nice. There's a boots that'll give you a teleport. The Homunculus Servant's actually pretty fun. This gives us a summon in combat. It's not super powerful, but it does help. I also like the Repulsion Shield. It's actually pretty strong. It's a shield that basically gets you to push back targets really far away, and it has a +3 AC. Pretty good for level 6. And once we get here, I guess Arcana is the best choice to go with, however you prefer pronouncing that word. Level 7, it gives us the Flash of Genius skill check. You can give a bonus to skill checks equal to proficiency bonus or intelligence modifier. At this level, it'll be your intelligence modifier. We'll also take Web, as that's kind of a decent spell to have. Level 8 gives us another choice in feat. Our spells don't really matter too much. We got everything that we really need from these. I guess Magic Weapon can work. We'll go with an ability score improvement on our dexterity. Once we hit level 9, we get ourselves the Armor model, which conjures an extra suit of armor. We also get Lightning Bolt and Hypnotic Pattern, which are great spells. And we get access to level 3s, which gives us Revivify, Glyph of Warding. If you're a half elf or a full elf, you can do a sleep glyph at your feet and knock everybody to sleep. Kind of useful if you get surrounded. Haste is another really good spell to have, and I also like to have the Elemental Weapon. We don't have like a lot of spells once we get up to this level, but it's something at least. And then once we get to level 10, we get our magical item adept, so this lets us create some items, arrows and things like that, which are kind of nice to have. We'll then take Booming Blade because we got our extra attack now, and then we can also add in Guidance if you wanted something different. We'll then also get some more spells here. Mind Sharpener is kind of weird. You basically get a robe. It crashed my game last time I used it, so I'm not going to use that. Same thing with the Ring of Ability. This also crashed my game last time, so learn from my mistakes. They might not work for you as this isn't updated for patch 8. The Helmet of Awareness is kind of cool. It's the same one golden glass helmet that I have on my character at the current moment, which does have your ears clipped through. It's kind of funny. And we'll also go with the winged boots, I guess. But I'm a little wary of these. They crashed my game a lot last video, and the video ended up taking a couple of hours to film because of all the crashes. I was trying to figure out what was happening. But spells storing scrolls. So this creates 10 scrolls. Knock is really the only good one that you can really get from this. It doesn't have a lot of them, but it gives you 10 of them. So it's useful, but mostly level 1 and 2 spells. Nothing super intense. Level 12 gives us our final preparation of spells. We'll also go with an ability score improvement on our, I guess dexterity is probably the best choice since we're doing more of a melee focused attacker with that extra attack. Also going with the Savage Attacker can be really nice to reroll our attacks. And this is the Prism Weave Jacket from Radiant Threads by Eridea on Nexus. Now the weird thing is, anytime that you're using any of these special items that you can summon in, they don't actually give you any notifier of what they're doing. So yeah, that's something. Now, one of the weird things is this class does not have weapon proficiency, so you gotta use the Justiciar Scimitar, which doesn't count as a weapon, oddly enough. That's the only problem. You have to use either simple weapons like daggers. Any other thing is going to be not proficient. So I guess it's the Justiciar Scimitar for us. That also helps if we use the hood that gives us the ability to see in magical darkness. But we also got the armor weapons here, which lets us conjure either a hammer or a launcher. So we could use that weapon alternatively. So this gives us the hammers here. And they count as light hammers, so we can actually dual wield them here. And they also come with the Protective Field ability, which gives you a bit of extra healing support. So you get temporary health points until long rest by using this. Doesn't tell you how much, so you have to pop it and it only gives you 6, a little bit less than False Life. And it apparently gives you a 2d83 of temporary health points there. So yeah, there's a lot of typos in this, just a heads up on that. And here are the scrolls that you're able to prepare. So False Life and Aid, I guess, are the kind of best ones to go with there. I'll go through equipment quickly here. Disintegrating Nightwalkers in the early game for the teleport. Into the late game, you can use Helldust Boots for similar effect, and Helldust Gloves too. Dark Justiciar Gauntlets also work well for the extra necrotic damage on your melee attacks. And even in the early game, the Gloves' Dexterity work well. I went the Armor Persistence here. It's just one of the best heavy armors in the game. It also gives us Resistance and Blade Ward, which are nice to have. And Cloak Protection plus 1 armor class. I also have that Artificer's Helm of Awareness, which is kind of nice. Another thing is it does give you a shield. So I have the Artificer's Repulsion Shield. I actually think it's probably better to go with this because this will push enemies back 15 feet when they attack you. If you're not in Honor mode, the Ring of Elemental Effusion with a Booming Blade will give you additional damage on your attacks. Otherwise, since we got a bit of darkness that we can use, the Shadow Cloaked Ring is kind of nice. And Killer Sweetheart for the free crits are always good too. I have the Ring of Protection because we need a bit of extra defense there. And yeah. You know, the only downside to using that hammer is that if there's silence in the area, you're effectively useless as thunder is blocked by that. But Booming Blade is a really strong attack for us. You can see there with a crit, we can do pretty good damage. Now, we're not very strong offensively. I just want to make that clear. But having extra attack does help. It's a lot better in the artillerist version of this. We're going with all the free crits there because we need that little extra boost to the damage. Now, we also have Lightning Bolt, which is great because this is a multi-hit attack. So we can use this thinking strategically on where we can line this up to get the max amount of targets. 4 and 1 is nice if we didn't get counterspelled. I'm going to use the Lifted Ability Drain. I don't normally do it, but this class is a little bit on the weaker end of things. So I'm just going to blast and take these targets out here. We also get the Flash of Geniuses here, which lets us, in fact, a saving throw. They got a critical success, so I find it procs it when you don't need to use it. So just be mindful that it does proc often, and when you may not want to be actually using it. The Lithid ability Sonic Dominance always on top, especially on a class that does not have Counterspell. And when there's a group of enemies grouped up like that there, if we can't hit them with a Lightning Bolt to hit all of them, I can. But you could use Glyph of Warding to do something similar. 5d8 of damage, not really the same as the 8d6, but you can get some extra targets with this sometimes, and you can choose the damage type. But since we can hit them with a Lightning Bolt, we may as well do it. I'm just going to blast away there. I was able to take out 1 target. That's pretty decent. A couple of them saved on it. I also like to use that Booming Blade. We can use at least once per round. This is actually a pretty large boost to our damage. That wasn't enough. Yeah, we barely did anything. Jeez. This weapon's not very strong. Yeah, it's literally just that 1d8. So yeah. And it won't use your strength modifier for some reason. It's only going to use, I'm not sure what modifier it's using. Oh, it's using your intelligence. Oh yeah, so that sucks. If you have a strength potion active, it should override that, but it doesn't. And here's a point where we actually want to use the Flash of Genius. So this will add either our intelligence modifier or proficiency bonus. So we can pop this, and it's basically just going to sometimes protect your teammate. So yes, yeah, it's probably better to just go all in on intelligence there. I didn't realize that at the moment, but Yeah, your attack rolls are going to be forced to be using your intelligence. So I think that's just with that special weapon. So if you didn't use the special weapon, I actually didn't last time I was playing with this. Oh, we got hit with that there. Extra attacks. If you got haste, you can do 2 booming blades per turn. Not like crazy damage, but most of our abilities as an artificer are out of combat utility. So I guess we also have the homunculus servant we can spawn into, which is this big glowing orb, which also attacks alongside us. It's not perfect, but it can do a bit of extra chip damage and distract enemies. And there are 2 targets left, so I'm going to booming blade and hit this target that's right beside me here because I need them gone immediately. That worked out great. This means that I can go with a ranged attack too. If you got a hand crossbow on handy, you can go with a ranged attack there. Not going to be massive damage, but it's enough to just chip. Now, what's great is we actually can drop a sleep glyph right here, and this will make it so that they go to sleep. If you weren't able to knock them out in 1 turn, you can always just skip your turn here, and then any attack against them from 3 meters will be a free crit, kind of similar to Hold Person. So yeah, you can then go resume the blasting away, and we'll go with this range attack. Some mods actually make it so you can't use your arrows, and for some reason that's affecting me too right now, so I can't actually use my arrows of humanoid slaying, but that's enough. Couldn't actually run back there and hit them. So as the Artificer Armorer in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. There is another Artificer mod coming on the way, so stay tuned for that. It's actually very complex because of how the Artificer actually works. It doesn't translate well into Baldur's Gate 3, but there's going to be mods to correct that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, though, and have a great day.